Welcome to another episode of Dudes at Ringside Podcasts, and now your hosts, Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr.
Hello there, wrestling fans! And welcome to Dudes at Ringside Podcast, internationally known, and now my co-host, the happy heel himself, the Metal Geek.
What's going on, everyone? What's going on? What's up, Ringside crew? What's going on? Joe, what's going on?
Not much, brother. Not much. So what'd you think about Raw tonight?
The tag title match wasn't that bad, actually, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And then we got Cedric and Shelton. So,
Maybe we should wait and talk about Raw with our special guests.
all right. So you want to introduce him?
You hear that sound? Is there a bunch of birds in the area? Let's introduce, I give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Sean Crow.
What's up, guys?
Hey,
What's
Sean.
going on?
Welcome to Dudes at Ringside podcast. So,
Thank you for having me.
for our fans, we've been doing this lately a lot, and I find it really fun. Sean, introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, I am a professional wrestler from South Louisiana. I'm born and raised in New Orleans, and get about as dark as it gets down here. So I try to harness that for my wrestling and bring people to the dark side, man.
So, working in New Orleans, like, is there a lot of dark gimmicks? I know in Louisiana they do a lot of like voodoo and stuff like that. Like that, you get your ideas from?
Well, you'd be surprised. There's not a lot of dark characters here. A lot of people come here with those characters because it fits. But people here try to branch out and do the vibrant, lively thing, and it's just never really been my forte. I think that it's more or less what's the word? More or less, it's harder for people to think of this area and not think of something dark, something gloomy, cemeteries and Bourbon Street and so on and so forth. So when people come here, they come with these characters, but they don't ever start here. I'm one of the few guys around that does a dark character, and I'm from this area.
So I was watching some of your matches, and it brings back to like an old school like babyface, basically.
So I try not to work a whole lot of babyface because I'm a big guy. It's hard for me to take the heat most stuff if you want to use terminology. But yeah, whenever I get going, it's kind of hard to let it stop because it's a good.
Now, like the old school heel where like they would put the sleeper on and the crowd would be like trying to cheer for you to come back.
Right,
Kind of like
right.
that sort of thing. That's the matches I was watching, like the match with Ray Ortiz and
Ray is lights out, man. I can't say enough about that guy. If you ever have a chance to have him on your show, please do. I'd love to listen to it because Ray is a top notch guy, and then we went to war. I mean, to be honest with you, he is probably the only guy who's ever suplexed me, German suplexed me, and I hit the back of my head harder than I've ever have in my life.
I've seen that.
But we went to war, and he's a hell of a guy. I can't say enough about him.
Mm-hmm.
If you speak to Ray, tell him, hey, I just came off Dudes at Ringside podcast, and they said they want to have you on the show.
Absolutely.
We'll take him. We just gotta look. Our schedule guys gotta keep us intact.
Well, you guys are pretty booked up from what I can see on Instagram. So.
October.
That's great, man. I'm glad I was able to get on.
So you got on like right in the beginning, like before we started getting booked up.
Right.
So
right.
yeah.
And like it's funny because there's people that like we had on the show before.
Right.
We had Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat.
Right.
We didn't even really talk about wrestling at all.
And I don't think I did either. I met him in a bar, not a bar, in the hotel bar at WrestleCon in New York. And first time I ever met the man. And we talked for probably 2.5 hours, never said a word about wrestling. So,
Wow.
I mean, he's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
He's super cool. My dad watched the thing on you or watched our interview with him on YouTube, and my dad's like, "Oh, you had him really relaxed there."
Yeah.
Even though my first question, Lance, Geeky ruined it.
What age did you realize you wanted to be a wrestler?
That's a really good question.
Gaines?
Man, I never really had a plan to be a wrestler. I love wrestling. I've always loved wrestling. My dad and I watched it when I was a kid. I didn't think about wrestling until I was probably like 17, 18 years old because I hurt myself playing football. Couldn't do that anymore. And I knew a local promoter, and he was like, "Hey, go meet this guy and train." So I started training. Every kid wants to be, WWE champion at WrestleMania, obviously. But I never had a goal to do it, so there never really was a time frame for me.
Yeah, it's funny because like I always say this to all my guests. I'm like, everybody always says to me like, "Oh wow, I'm the one in all my friends. It's like the big wrestling fan with Geek, and then they say this to me, and then I go, well, by the way, was your grandfather a Golden Era wrestler? And they pause and go, no. Well, I guess you can't hang. Bye. And I'll look away. I was that guy in the Friends. But then this pandemic has opened up my eyes and I found out I have 2 relatives that are professional wrestlers that I need. Pete Sanchez wrestled to the 90s, and Frank Martinez, the Blue Demon.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm third generation, even though I stick to this microphone. I would have done it, but I got weighed yesterday, a few days ago by the doctor, and I only weigh 130 pounds.
Oh wow, I could throw you really far.
Oh, you would launch me. I'd be like, ah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we Kermit the Frog style. I think I'm a swimmer, and also I work out a lot, so I'd be able to. I know how to.
Perfect.
I can take it. I did act. I did plays.
There you
go. Yeah. So like, they already asked that half that our guest, a customer asked. I mean, one of our fans asked that part of the question. So like, what was the first match or first like encounter with the fans when you knew you made it in like the wrestling business?
It was Halloween 2011. We were wrestling in town at Morgan City here, which actually have a show in July there. And that was Halloween night. We had a little over 1,200 people, something like that. And I was walking to the ring, and my character at the time was a little darker than it is now. And kid looked at me. I mean, I walked right by him, didn't say a word to him. I just looked at him, and he started crying. Made my existence. I was going to go. I felt terrible, mind you. After the show, I went and talked to this kid. We had a great conversation. I signed some stuff for him, but at that point, I was so ecstatic because I knew I didn't have to do anything. I just walked by him and looked at him, and he cried. So that was great.
What's the current situation right now with what's going on? Are you guys running shows or?
So, like I said, we were wrestling in Morgan City in July. That'll be the first show in Louisiana since COVID started for us, for me at least. There's another show, I think. No, that's after that. So July 10th will be the first show in Louisiana since COVID, since last year. We have a wrestling commission here, kind of like what New York and everybody else has. So I say everybody else, but we're like 13 states have wrestling commissions. We have probably the biggest pain in the butt of all of them. But so they shut us down, said no fans, no wrestling, no nothing. You can't do anything because we can't social distance. This make it work. they had a meeting a couple weeks ago that said, okay, you can do 50% capacity of the building. Everybody has to wear a mask. You have to have a COVID test before you can go into the ring. And then now they've reduced it where we don't have to do a test. We're going to have 75% capacity and no mask if you've been vaccinated. I'm thinking by the time July gets here, we'll be pretty much open as far as wrestling goes. I really hope we are. But it's looking like it's going to be a big show because it's been over a year since we've been able to wrestle here, and people are kind of itching for it. So,
yeah, there's a well, we live like East Coast, so there's a group that we always. When I lived on Long Island, Geek and I would always go to their shows. Is called the New York Wrestling Connection. It's in Long Island, NYWC. Zack Ryder has wrestled there. Kurt Hawkins, MJF. There's a like
Reynolds and Silver.
They're apparently supposed to be doing their first ever show. It's not official, but there's big rumors out there. But I hate hearing rumors. But then that's like a big rumor for them. But Geeky, next question.
Can we answer from the audience here?
Yeah, fans in the audience. Let's get some questions.
Yeah. How did you come up with
your gimmick? So growing up, I was a huge fan of Sting and huge fan of The Undertaker and just all the kind of darker things. Well, say Sting wasn't dark when I first watched him, but watching that kind of build, I was coming up with the character. It just kind of said, well, I want to wear a trench coat. I want to have I do a face paint. I don't do a lot. I do a little bit of face paint, and I want it to be in your face. So what I did was I took Brock Lesnar's in-ring work. I took Sting's persona from before the Wolfpack and just kind of meshed him. There you go. I throw people and I scare people. That's my thing. So that's kind of how it all came together because I just took my biggest personality of what I used to love to watch and put it in the ring.
Do you have any pets by any chance, or?
I have a dog, and my girlfriend just got a cat. I'm trying to say it's not mine because it's a cat, but still.
Yeah, we're pet friendly on this show. We have a lot of.
Eventually, I'm gonna have a pet crow. I don't have one yet, but I will eventually.
You can. I think you could buy them as pets. I heard that.
Really?
I think you can. I could be wrong. You have to look that up. But I heard crow is the smartest bird. This is my dad's fact. He found this out somewhere. The crow is the smartest bird in the world.
Absolutely.
That's why we love them. And you can teach them anything. You can teach them how to teach them to protect your yard. They're like one of those animals that are like
absolutely. They're extremely smart. And you talk about a flock of them is called a murder, which obviously is not a great word. But if the flock of them is called a murder, I mean, you get a bunch of them together that are that smart, a lot can happen. So
yeah, actually, I was watching the best of the movie The Crow, and they were showing you how they got the bird to land right on the grave, and it took the bird 5 seconds to learn to jump on the grave and do the tap tap thing. It's like that. I was like, what?
And yes, actually, to the question of how I came up with the character, obviously Sean Crow, the Crow, and I do a kind of a similar face paint. It did stem some from the movie. I love the movie. But the wrestling character I meant mostly Sting and Brock.
Yeah. I guess my next question. What is your favorite food to eat in New Orleans? What is your favorite meal if you had to choose a meal?
I love seafood. We have fresh seafood here, obviously because it's right by the water. So fish and shrimp, fried fish and shrimp is my go-to meal. Just about anywhere on the quarter that you get it, it's pretty darn good in the French Quarter. And if you're up early for breakfast, go get some beignets and coffee and stuff. But mostly fried shrimp and fried fish is my go-to meal.
New Orleans is awesome. I have to go back there.
My parents went.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There'll be plenty of time for it. Hopefully the things open up here. When you do come down, let me know. We'll get a tour.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. Huh?
There we go. We can go to New Orleans. I won't say it like that when I'm there. I'm in New Orleans, Joe. Stop. New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans.
Well, people don't like the way we talk when we go to New York. I understand completely. So.
I'm allergic to shellfish, so I'm gonna have to stick to the other stuff. If they can make a po' boy without shrimp, I'm safe.
Absolutely, yeah. Po' boys of everything. You can get po' boys of hamburger if you wanted to, but I mean, we got all kind of options here. Shellfish included or not included if you don't need. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
remember.
allergic to shellfish. I'll look like a puff boy if I eat that.
I remember.
Oh my god, that was mine. Oh, sure.
I remember WrestleMania being down in New Orleans. It was like one big party.
oh, absolutely, the whole
It
weekend
was-
was great.
There was people like just in the middle of the street having a wrestling match.
Yeah,
It was
we
like
had we walked down Bourbon Street before WrestleMania started. We walked down Bourbon Street, and then we walked down Bourbon Street again after Mania was over. It was like totally different scenes because before it was quiet. There was some kids playing on the buckets, drumming and stuff. But after, it was like a nightclub had started. I mean, it was ridiculous the way that things just changed. And there were
Yeah.
matches in the street. There were people, having a good time. It was great.
I remember some guy was dressed like Andre, another guy was dressed like Hogan. There were like people on the street. They're saying, "Come on, slam him, slam him." It was great. There's another guy dressed like Macho Man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Cosplay is a huge thing here anyway. And then you bring a whole bunch of wrestlers into town. It's going to be people will be dressed up all over the place. I almost went
Exactly.
character one time for one of the nights. I almost went dressed in my gear, but I didn't do it. So it's all right.
Next WrestleMania, maybe.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Have you watched any of the A&E biographies yet?
So I want to. I absolutely do. I love all that stuff. Austin is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So I've seen like snippets, but I haven't actually sat down and watched it. And my shoot job has been ridiculous the last couple of weeks or months. So as soon as I get a chance, I will sit down and watch it though.
Yes. Have you watched any of the Dark Side of the Ring ones?
Yes, I watched the Brian Pillman one. And I watched, what was the one I watched before that? I don't remember the other one. I remember the Brian Pillman one for sure.
That one was really good. That one broke me. I was like, oh my god.
Any chance you're a fan of New Japan? Been following up with that stuff, or because I'm the New Japan guy?
When we went to New York for Mania, we went to Madison Square Garden for that event for them, and we also some friends of mine went to Dallas for what was that? That was
Supercard G1.
yes,
G1?
yes, G1 Supercard, and that was phenomenal. Jeff Cobb. If I ever get an opportunity to wrestle Jeff Cobb, I can retire after that, and I'll be a happy man. That dude is a freak.
Watching.
He may
What's
be
that?
watching. He may be watching.
Please,
So
absolutely, somebody sign me up because I will wrestle him in a heartbeat.
Sign
sign this guy up. If anybody from Ring of Honor, New Japan, anywhere, sign up.
Sign
Jeff Cobb is a freak of nature, and that was Supercard was my first live showing of seeing him, and that dude is just insanely gifted.
G1 Supercard or G1?
G1 in Dallas was the first time I saw him.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with Lance Hoyt, if he's watching. Hello, Lance. But Lance Hoyt was there. That's around the time he was destroying everybody in New Japan. And after the show, I texted him. I said, dude, we got to go and meet Jeff Cobb. So he texted me the next day. Apparently, I fell asleep. So he texted me, where were you? What do you mean, where was I? We were supposed to go meet Jeff Cobb. I was so upset I didn't get to meet him. But soon, very soon, I'm hoping if I get to wrestle him. If I get to wrestle him, I'm never going to get back in the ring again. I'll be happy with it. So.
You're done. Retired, right?
Absolutely.
Another question for the audience, Lance.
Oh, we do?
Are you a New Orleans Saint fan? I absolutely am. I was there in 2009 when they won the Super Bowl. I have been a fan since I was a kid. Growing up here is just kind of, it's normal. It's just everybody is. If you aren't, most people don't like you. So, but yeah, I am definitely a New Orleans Saints fan.
Have you ever gone to? I know you said you go to games frequently, or do you like watch them on TV?
So I watch mostly on TV. I've been to a few games. I go with one of my best friends. We go, and my dad took me when I was a kid. But mostly on TV. I'll go to like tailgate around the stadium and stuff before the game, but work usually kind of keeps me away from it, so I don't get a chance to go as much as I'd like to.
Geeky,
No.
next question. No dead air.
I think you were next.
Oh, okay. If you had to pick any old school superstar from the past, from like either NWA, WCW, or WWF, to choose to wrestle, who would you choose and why?
That's broad. Wow. Okay. So let's go really old. I say really old, but pretty old, and I'd go Terry Gordy. Just because, from what I understand, from what I've listened to Michael Hayes say, that Terry could go for just days and just wrestle and wrestle and wrestle, but he would make you laugh the entire time. And I love wrestling guys that do that because the character is very straight faced. There is no emotion really except for intensity. So keeping back the laughter from some people is very, very hard. And I love to wrestle him just for that challenge of being able to technically wrestle, because Terry could go forever. But also the fact that he was like really funny in the ring. I remember hearing a story that he had a guy in a headlock and he was asking what he was doing for dinner that night. And it's just like stuff like that is just hilarious to me. And I would love to have been part of that. Especially back then, whenever kayfabe was a real thing, as far as being a really strong part of the wrestling community. So you really couldn't talk to the guy out of the ring. So you got all your stuff in the ring. So
Geekenstein.
Me?
No, the guy behind you with the baseball.
You have some favorite music or
favorite music? I'm a huge country and rock guy. I don't get away from that much. Being from the South is just kind of our thing. I do listen to some hip hop stuff depending on the beat and depending on the rhythm of it. But for the most part, country and rock is my go-to.
all right. Who is your favorite female and male wrestler right now?
Favorite female wrestler now?
Yeah,
Your favorite male and female wrestler. Okay. So it's, again, very broad. Favorite male wrestler right now, probably. Man, that's tough. I'm hitting the hard questions early. I like it. Okay. Can I say myself? No, I'm joking.
That's what I was gonna ask. You can't say yourself.
Okay, fine. So I love the work that Darby Allin's doing right now. I think that I didn't really know who he was until AEW picked him up, and I love the work that he's doing, especially because he's working with Sting. So right now, I think if I had to pick someone in the ball range, he'd be my guy. And girl favorite wrestler, oof. There's some extremely talented women on the NXT roster. Toni Storm, probably, just because she's kind of a mix of badass and just women, just what a woman should be. So, and she's extremely talented, not to boot. So Toni Storm probably my favorite woman wrestler right now.
Yeah, she's crazy. That one. What are your opinions on Thunder Rosa?
And the thumbtacks, man.
Yeah, she's controversial to say the least.
Would you want to go? Would you want to wrestle her, or if they let you
in a heartbeat? In a heartbeat.
Because she wrestles guys. I noticed that.
Yeah.
So
and there's a lot of women that won't because of the outlook of it. Because guys beating on women, I obviously wouldn't want that to be the case. But if it were just a wrestling match, absolutely in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
I watched some videos of her doing she did. I don't know if it was just a joke. She did a shoot with this dude that was interviewing her, and he's like, "Put me in a sleeper hold," and she's like, "I don't know if you want me to do that," and she did it, and I guess she did it as a character. She went into she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna put you in sleeper hold," and she's like, "No." Like she put him to sleep. It was hilarious. I was like, she's like 2 hours later. What happened? She's like, "Oh no, you didn't tell me not to do it." I was dying. We're trying to get her too, but it's hard to get bigger talent on the show. But having you guys that are on the independent scene always makes us smile, because by helping you, you're helping us, and we're helping your promotion get known, like on the East Coast. Someone
Right.
go, Impact,
Action Pro.
Action Pack
Wrestling.
Impact Wrestling. Guys, you should look it up when you get a chance when the show's over. Just go on YouTube and look it up. You can find matches with Sean. You'll be able to watch other
Rare Tees, right?
tees. You'll be able to watch a bunch of other matches that you've never thought you would ever see your entire life. Just check it out. That's why we love doing this. To help them out.
And I tell people all the time, and it's not a rib on the guy that do this in the WWE or AEW or anything, but people on the independent circuit, we do it because we want to. We do it because we love it. We do it not for the money, not for the crap and all that other stuff, but we love to do this. We love to wrestle. Guys in the WWE, for the most part, is a paycheck. And I'm kind of glad I never pursued it to go any further because I don't want it to be a paycheck. If this wasn't fun for me, I wouldn't want to do it. It takes a certain special kind of person to do what we do. And it's not for everybody. It's just not meant for everyone. But at the same time, if I wasn't enjoying myself, if I wasn't having fun going out there and, for lack of a better term, beating people up, I wouldn't want to do it. I surely wouldn't want to do it for a paycheck. Obviously, everybody wants to get paid. Okay, I mean, I don't do this for free, but at the same time, I'm not, living off of this. I have a regular day job too. I think that it's important that the independent guys get noticed, and I appreciate you guys having me on. That the independent guys get noticed on a bigger scale, because what you see on TV is 100% developed. It is drawn out, written, practiced, gone over, whatever. A lot of the times we get to the ring, we have no idea who we're wrestling. We don't know who's gonna interfere. We don't know what's gonna happen here, what's gonna happen there, and we put together the best show that we can. So I think that's important for us to get a kind of a spotlight, and you guys doing this is phenomenal, because people like who'd you have last week? Was that
Tamaku? No, Tamaku was a month. No, it was a month ago.
I'm sorry. People like Tamaku, who is that much of a character. He is a beautiful character. His gimmick is incredible, but you don't get to see the soft side of that in the ring, whereas you do on stuff like this, and that's phenomenal.
Oh,
you guys hell of a job.
Amy Crimson we had on the show
Canada,
right,
last week.
I had to look at the calendar. I was like, she's a nice person. She's a sweetheart, and I feel so bad for her because she's in Canada and she cannot wrestle at all.
They're on lockdown.
Lockdown completely. Her, Jessie Mack, and Bella Bronx.
Okay.
All trained in the facility.
Scarlett Delgado too. Don't forget her.
Yeah, Scarlett Delgado. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're all stuck. It's like trapped instead of leaving New York, trapped in Canada. I don't know what I would think if I was a wrestler and I could not wrestle because my state was shut down. I'd freak out. I would start a podcast.
All right, you will continue. Sorry, Joe interrupted. Continue.
Oh no.
Yeah. You were saying that, like, you love doing this.
I do, and again, I've done it since 2009. I trained in 2009. I didn't have my first match until 2000, and the end of 2010, beginning of 2011. And if I didn't love this, over the last 10 years, I wouldn't do it, because you put your body through a lot, and it's not for everybody. I feel like if you guys,
this is a show or what? Well, what's that supposed to mean? Is that good or bad? Is this a show or what?
I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for putting a spotlight on the independent guys and the girls that really, work hard to do this. Because we may not all make it to the WWE, we may not make it to AEW or Impact, but if you come to our shows, we guarantee you one thing is that we will do our best to entertain you. So,
yeah, this is why we do this, because me and Geek love the independent scene, and I've been saying this for since I'll be saying this till I'm blue in the face. The independent scene right now, because they don't have fans, are struggling. Go on the Wrestle Tees. Was it Wrestle Tees, Geek?
Pro Wrestling Tees.
Wrestling Tees.
Go on and buy a T-shirt of a wrestling federation you do not know. Just go on there
There's
and buy
actually a
one.
Memorial Day sale. You're saving money right now if you go
Yeah.
in there and buy
There
one.
you
So,
go.
Buy Sean's shirt. Buy anybody that's on there.
Action Packed Pro Wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Buy one of their shirts,
Buy
right?
one of their shirts. Give
It's Action Packed, right? Or is it
Action Packed Wrestling. Yeah.
Action Packed?
Action Pack Wrestling.
Yeah, buy one of their shirts.
Action Pack Wrestling T-shirt. They need you, man. It's like your brother, your friend that fell on the sidewalk. You help him up. You know, like, help him out. We love it. There we go. Rant over. Do you have any funny stories from the road?
Oh man, yeah. We were traveling to Pensacola, Florida, and I guess from Louisiana there, it's probably like 6, 7 hours, something like that. And we did it probably about 9, because every 30 minutes or so, one of the guys in the car had to use the bathroom, need something to eat, so on and so forth. So, this was our first trip out there. It was terrible. We get to one of the rest stops, and the guy sees me digging in my bag, and he sees there's basically spandex. I mean, we wrestle in spandex, and asked me what we're doing. I told him we're wrestlers. And my buddy, lo and behold, I love him to death, but he's not very much for people. Came up to him and asked him what his problem was, because he was standing by our car. We didn't know who the guy was, so on and so forth. And he says, I was just asking your friend here what you guys did, and I didn't realize y'all like to throw each other around, or throw each other around and do that fake stuff, as he called it. And if you know anything about wrestling, you don't tell us that it's fake.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
So he proceeded to slap him around a little bit, and actually ended up getting beat up. Not the guy. My friend ended up getting beat up. So we picked him up, and we put him in the car, and we proceeded to our show. And we got there and found out that we got unbooked on the way there somehow, and we didn't know about it. So he got into a fight, got beat up, and we got unbooked all within the 9 hours of the day that it took us to get there. So that was a fun trip on the way back. So nobody got paid, obviously.
Oh.
That's horrible.
Let's see what else. So kendo sticks,
Oh yeah.
they're pretty regular everywhere you go. You've seen them shatter, right? They shatter at the end, they kind of fray.
Yeah.
We had a show here in Louisiana, and we knew the spot was going to be, the match was going to be over. This guy was going to grab a kendo stick, hit the other guy, and that was going to be it. He grabbed the kendo stick and hit him. It broke at the handle. He hit him so hard. The guy hasn't wrestled since. That was interesting. Never seen that happen before. I think I have a video clip. I might have to send that to you guys. What else? We went to WrestleCon in New Orleans, and we're from here, so we had a table. I'm a sponsored athlete for Collar and Elbow, so I was hanging out over there, and I overheard Al Snow tell a story that what was it? Who are they with? I think it was either Stevie Richards or Shane Douglas, one of the two from ECW, and Sandman was there. They told me that Sandman went to get a beer out of the ice chest and ended up picking up a bottle of water. Back in the day, he didn't drink anything other than beer. That's all he drank. And said he opened it up, didn't pay attention, and drank it. Spit it out in the waitress's face at the restaurant they were at. That lady beat the crap out of Sandman. I've never heard a funnier story in my life the way he explained it. I can't remember it word for word.
Yes.
She beat the heck out of Sandman. Let's see. Any stories from my trip? I've only been a few around the Gulf Coast for the most part. Went to Lucedale, I think that's the name of the town, Lucedale, Mississippi. Wrestled for 18 people, I think it was. That was the loudest I've ever heard a crowd in my life. And it was 18 people. I mean, I kid you not, it couldn't be more than 20 people. Loudest crowd I've ever heard in my entire life. The funniest part of the whole show, the guy come out and was cutting a promo on a lady in the front row. Told her she needed, 2 front teeth or something like that. Ended up being his sister. she was pissed. She thought it was real. She hated him. They still don't speak to this day.
Oh my God.
That's the South for it's what we
Yeah,
get.
the thing is with some of the smaller venues, they could get loud because the acoustics are great. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Because some of the smaller venues.
They probably
So-
couldn't have fit 100 people in there if they wanted to, but I mean, they had 18 people, 20 people at the most, and just it was bouncing off the walls. You could hear every word. It was loud. It was great. It was probably one of the best matches I had at that time, and it was phenomenal. You're talking about loud. We went to WrestleMania 32 in Dallas. It was my first WrestleMania, and when Austin's glass broke, whenever he came down, that is the loudest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I heard the
100-something
story.
thousand people was outrageous.
Hmm.
I heard the story with Austin. Yeah, that pop I heard was probably one of the best pops ever.
Well, Sean came out, which he's from Texas too. That was great. Foley came after him. Awesome, Mick Foley. And then Stone Cold's glass breaks. I kid you not. I mean, you couldn't hear after it was over because I mean everybody was screaming. It had to be 115, 110,000 people in that and brand new AT&T Stadium in Dallas. It was just like an eruption. They blew the roof off that place. Or so we did because I was there. But I mean, it was incredible.
And they're going back.
Right. As far as, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. They should better check the screws on that roof. They're gonna blow it off again.
Well, yeah, next year we're going back to Dallas. I'm hoping they do something with him because he was actually on the promo video they cut to announce it. So I'm hoping they use him. I think stories from me, man. It's a lot.
Your training, like when you first started training for wrestling, like those kind of stories too.
So, like I said before, I didn't really have any aspirations to be a wrestler. I mean, I love wrestling. I love doing it now. But before, it was kind of like, I love to watch it. It's probably about the most it's going to get. And I hurt myself playing football. I lost the ability to go to college and play. And I was at a friend's house, and I was jumping on a trampoline because, I mean, at the time, I was a lot smaller than I am now. And one of the guys that was there was a local wrestling promoter. And he's like, you ever thought about wrestling? I love to watch it. I never thought about doing it. Well, be here tomorrow and tell this guy I sent you. Okay. So I went, and it was in somebody's backyard. One of my best friends to this day was his backyard. And I helped him put the ring up. I came back probably an hour later. We started training. First bump I took, I fell on my tailbone. I wanted to quit. I was done. That crap hurt. Oh, man. Well, I didn't. I stayed. Came kind of naturally to me. And then the next day, I say that the next day I woke up, I couldn't get out of bed. I mean, it was physically just beat the crap out of me. And we didn't do anything. It was just bumping. But, I mean, it's not for everybody, like I said. But we did that, and I just never looked back. It's been phenomenal this entire time. Getting to meet people that I never thought I would meet, getting to do things in the ring I never thought I'd get to do. I weigh 280 pounds. I'm 6'2", and I jump off the top rope. I do all the things big guys don't normally do. I like doing that kind of stuff. And it's like Kevin Nash said one time. He said, being 7 feet tall, you can't walk in a grocery store without somebody being able to see you. I'm 6'2". If I walk into Walmart and somebody notices me from wrestling, that made my day. I had a kid come up to me and was freaking out because it was me, and I was so excited. I can't even tell you how happy that makes me. But so I never planned on doing it, but I'm so glad that I have. It's been a fun ride so far. I'm hoping it's not over, but I mean.
Yeah, like, where do you see yourself like in 5 years?
So I've held a couple of titles in a couple of different places, but I've never been, the guy. I'd like to be the guy in a company, in the next 5 years. I'd like to work my way up to being a heavyweight champion somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe Action Pack Wrestling. They got a couple other promotions here. There's a company that I hear is about to get started in Mississippi that I'd like to see about headlining for. So I see myself being on top of a company somewhere.
I don't know what happened to
We-
Geek. It's just my
we
show
lost
now.
him.
Yes, he ditched us. Good. At least it didn't kick us off.
Right, right.
Yeah. So I already asked you about the food. So what do you like to do when you're not wrestling and not working for fun?
So I mean, I'm a sports guy. I like watching football, basketball, baseball. I'm a Braves fan. Um, my kids, man, I'm a dad, and they changed my life at a very early age. I say very early age, but an early age, and it's probably my favorite thing to do is get off of work and go home, get to see them and hang out with them. Man, it's probably the most important job I have is being their dad. So that's my other favorite thing to do. And then, oh wow,
That was me. Sorry, that was my computer. My friend said hold. And Geek said hold. Do you collect anything? Are you a collector of anything like pops or something?
I'm not a major collector of anything. I play video games, so I have the newest consoles. I don't collect anything yet. I know I've told myself I want to. I don't like spending money, so I
Yeah.
don't spend on a whole lot of stuff. But
Do you play any of the 2K games?
I do basketball a lot. I played the WWE 2K games, and last year's was terrible.
Ugh.
It was god awful. I'm hoping that 22 is better.
I hear a lot of positive things about it. Like a lot of gamers that get this game before everybody else. A lot of them are getting it and they're loving the graphics and stuff like that. I don't know how they got it, but that's what they keep saying.
So I saw a post today from Leo Rush. He's actually doing the motion capture for the game. So hopefully it's a little bit more fluid. I like the idea of him doing that. But the story it was so bad for the last one, and I hope they do better on that. I missed the SmackDown versus Raw and all that stuff. It really well put together.
Oh yeah.
2K is just kind of put them down. I'm hoping when the UFC moved to ESPN, they got picked up back by EA Sports. I'm hoping the WWE gets the same treatment eventually. Now that they're on prominent networks and stuff, maybe they get picked up by EA Sports and make the game better. But we'll have to wait and see. But I'm looking forward to 22. I mean, I look forward to every year, but hopefully it's just not as bad as it was last year.
Like I've been stuck playing 2019 since 2019. Like I remember for Christmas, I think it was my birthday or Christmas, my dad's like, what do you want? Do you want the new SmackDown game? And I was like, no. I forgot what game I got instead. And we were driving and he paused and went, we were driving down a quarry and he was like, we could have went off the road. He was like, what? I was like, I don't want it. The graphics are horrible. My brother doesn't do wrestling and he bought the game and he asked me, should I buy it? I said, no, buy 2019. You'll like it better. And he's like, that's the last time, buy it. Trust me. And he was hooked. My brother never plays wrestling games. My brother, he's a big baseball fan. Like he's hooked to he's a Met fan. He's hooked to baseball. And he bought the wrestling game, and he's like, that was the coolest game I ever bought, Randy. Thank you so much for telling me to buy this game. Like, and I'm the type of person that create people or I download people.
Right.
And here's an interesting question for you. Has anybody ever created Sean Crow in any of the 2K games?
Yes, actually. There's a guy who's a local fan who comes to all of our shows who sent me a message probably like last week. I think I might still have it right here. And he went and made me on the game, and I was there. I was very impressed. He's not done with it, he said, but hopefully he is soon. I'd like to see how it comes out, but a little bit more green in it right now than it needs to be. But let's see.
You could actually create your own finisher move. I wonder he created the 13.
I've tried before, and I never can get it to look right. But this is what he's made so far.
That's good. That's really good. Wow.
So
You did a good job on that. I'm the master of creating my grandfather. I always do it. Always, always, always. That was like my take on my grandfather didn't make it that long in wrestling. He passed away before I was born, but I always create him, and every year it's always I have to have myself, my guy, my character that's always me, and I check the name and nobody's using it. Kid Crazy, and I use me versus my grandfather, and it's hilarious that every time we fight, he wins or I won, and it's always a attack. He always attacks me at the end of the match. Never fails.
my
Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Lost the connection. Lance, you lost the connection. That's what happened? You lost the connection? Are we still live? I don't know what to do. I'll still talk. So what is your favorite animal? Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Favorite animal? White tiger. Actually, I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's my my animal.
The tattoo on my right arm is actually white tiger eyes.
No, there is Metal Geek. Need that. Oh wow.
So
It'll probably be in the sleeve that I do. So
I'm gonna have to use my phone the rest of the show.
Okay, what happened? The computer died?
The computer just died, so I'm gonna have to use the phone the rest of the show. So if I cut in and out, just
He said his favorite animal is white tiger. I'm a wolf. I love wolves.
I can't
Then
even talk.
the guy that trained me is his thing is wolves. He's flipped the Wolfman Jackson, so he loves wolves. Every time I see something wolf related, I have to send it to him. So
I have my high school ring has the wolf in it. I have like wolves on my wall, a metal wolf on the ground. Like you'll be like, why does the guy like wolves? A big wolf on my wall here. Like, and I like skulls. I got my crystal skull vodka. Even though my friend's like, how do you have a bottle of vodka in your room? You haven't drunk the whole thing of it. I'm like, because I don't see it drinking like that. And also the bottle was the little bottle I just showed you. That was $50 a bottle.
wow, yeah. The beard oil that I use comes in a skull bottle, so I collect them. I say I collect them. I don't collect them. I have a bunch of them. But
Yeah. Geek, you still there? Because I made this all by myself. Geek, you still there? Ugh. He's having lots of technical things. Okay, you ask questions. I've been asking questions feel like forevers. You there?
My wife down right now for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, here we go. Geek, ask question. we're losing the audience.
My wife is
ask-
down right now, so sorry to bother. Yeah.
Oh yeah, bother.
Ask a question. All right. All right. If you could tell kids today that look up to you and want to be a pro wrestler, what would you tell them?
so there's two sides to that coin. First thing is make sure it's something you really want to do. But if you something you really want to do, you need to make sure that you're mentally available. It takes a lot of time to get prepared. I see a lot of kids just hey, I want to wrestle. They find somebody to put them on a show that day. It's not okay. They need to go and train. They need to go and be prepared. That would be my first thing to do is find a school, learn your craft, and just kind of prepare yourself. Don't just jump head first and say I want to be in front of a crowd, because you'll hurt yourself, you'll hurt somebody. My go-to is always find a school.
Okay. He went away again. He ran away. All right.
Am I that bad of a guest? Oh my God.
Oh geez, no. There we go. Like, here we go. I do this with all the guests, so you're gonna get your moment of think.
Think. Wonderful.
All right.
Coming down the aisle for New Orleans, Sean Crow.
That was really good. It sounded like Fink. I like it.
Childhood going to the garden, you get that voice
Absolutely.
every time.
Absolutely. I like it. Good job. Thank you.
I was trying to make it sound more Devin like.
That's right. I do have the chills, man. That's great.
By the way,
Wow.
sorry about the technical difficulties earlier. You know.
If you didn't want to talk to me, you just had to say something.
You make the crow upset, man. I have too many crows that live by my house. They just start pecking my windows.
There you go. See?
Here in PA. I live in the sticks in PA. There's a lot of trees. I think if you'd probably like, I don't know if you may not like, it's good places to take pictures for like wrestling. I don't know why wrestlers don't come up to Pike County and take more pictures because it could be creepy in some points.
So anyway, what happened before was my Wi-Fi actually died.
Really?
That's what the technical difficulties was. The Wi-Fi actually crashed. So I had to go on LTE to run the show through StreamYard. So
how did you not kick me off?
I have no idea because I don't know because I guess you guys are still in it, but
Yeah,
it's kind of weird, you know. But anyway,
I was wondering. I was like, he's gone. I mean, we're gonna get kicked out. Here we go. Another interesting question. If you could travel to any country and wrestle, what country would it be and why?
The UK. One, because their fans are nuts. And I'd love to wrestle in front of them just to make them upset. But mostly because like people that you've seen come out of there between Paige and Wade Barrett and things like that come off that side of the country and Finn Balor. I'd love to go there and wrestle because the talent they have now that is actually going to be coming over to the WWE soon is just it's stacked. It is incredible, and I want to say, what was his name? I watched an independent match from the UK last week with a buddy of mine, and I don't think I've enjoyed watching a wrestling match as much as I have that one in a long time. I'd love to go there just to be a part of it.
Cool.
UK would be awesome, by the way. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Japan, you should mention too.
Well, Japan is a relative goal because I have a couple of friends that have traveled there, so I know what I need to do to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I love my kids. I don't like the idea of being away for that long of time, but we'll see what happens. But Japan is definitely on the list. It's definitely on the list.
Wait, you go next, Geeky. Then I'll shoot my question off.
All right. Do you have a favorite match? Like
of
all
mine?
time? Yeah, all time.
This upsets me to say this because I'm not a big fan of the guy personally. Yes. So 2012, something like that. Morgan City again. Wrestled a guy named Cody Hawkins. Him and I have a interesting past, personally. Both started wrestling around the same time ish, and we wrestled, and it was a great match. Fluid. Chemistry was really really good that night. He was probably my favorite match personally. Favorite match that I've been a part of was 2018. We brought Shane Douglas in, and I got to take a kendo stick shot from him. That was probably one of my go-to moments there.
That's awesome.
So, Sean, would you, if you're ever asked, would you ever take a tour, like a wrestling tour down the East Coast?
Would I do one down the East Coast?
Yeah, like if there was a promotion that you saw, oh, they're going to be doing the East Coast, like an East Coast promotion, like if I'm trying to make it sound the smartest way, like if there was like if you had to like move, would you wrestle on the East or stay on the coast you're in?
So I have a few friends that wrestle up in New York, and when we were there, I actually had a chance to wrestle. I didn't get to do it, but I wanted to. I absolutely would. I'd wrestle on the East Coast if I had the opportunity. I think that I love the style of wrestling here in the South. On the Gulf Coast, I really do. But I would definitely be open to wrestling over there. It would take some figuring out, but I definitely wouldn't say no for sure.
Is there an opponent you learned something from, or
Is there what?
an opponent you learned something from?
I learn something from everybody that I wrestle. It's really strange the way it happens because you don't anticipate going into a match that you're trying to beat the guy that you're going to pick up some things, but you do, and it's very strange how it happens. So I wrestled in Mississippi at the beginning of the year, and we locked up. I pushed him to the corner, and I went to throw a punch, and the guy basically fetal positioned on me. So there's nothing I could do, and I was anticipating that to keep happening. He played me. I went to come in. He kicks me in the knee. I take the turnbuckle, and I never thought about the slowing it down that much. But I mean, he was just kind of waiting for me, and just every time
Wow.
I wrestle somebody, I find something new that I didn't really pay attention to. So I slowed things down.
Hello, Brazil.
Oh, Sean,
Wow.
someone
From
fan that's
Brazil.
here that's from Brazil.
It's incredible. Wow. Really
Oh.
is international. I like it.
There we
Yeah,
go.
we're internationally known right here,
Oh yeah.
and dudes at ringside. But
He has a question for you also.
yeah,
Show the
if you
question.
wanna-
Keith.
you could,
I don't
if you
know.
want to fight on the WWE.
So obviously, I would never say no. Obviously, a lot of guys get a chance to work backstage and do things. I would love to do that too. If I were ever offered a shot at a dark match or even just a match on the undercard or whatever, yes, absolutely, I would. Am I gonna go out of my way to go there? No, no, I'm
No.
not. But I absolutely would if I had the opportunity.
By the way, thanks for the comment from Brazil. By the way,
Thanks, Brazil. Tell your friends, please tell your friends. We love all our fans, internationally known.
all over the world, everywhere.
That's why we call ourselves as the New Day would go, internationally known. It's
Yeah.
it's like so funny how now we have fans everywhere, not just here in America, everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And guys, me and Geek, I used to joke with Geek in college when we would do our wrestling stuff, and we would say like, we have fans, fake fans following around us, booing us and cheering. They'd be cheering me, and then Lance walks out the building and they're booing you. But now we have, and Lance
Now they could boo us for real.
real boo us.
if we're bad.
We're bad, they boo us. So they'll give you a thumb down in the crowd, in the chat, or they'll just not show up. Because sometimes I wake up the next day and my mom goes, Randy, how many fans did you have? And I go, I don't know, Mom. It doesn't pop up in the corner. And I have to like look like I'm reaching out to grab my guest and check my screen. And we only got, we should have really promoted this show. We only have one on Twitch. But we know YouTube and Facebook always gets a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
Spotify is bringing a lot of people though. Well, not a lot, but
But
we've been slowly growing on there.
we get what we get. Like one show we had this amount, next we have the other one. But it's hard because as the pandemic's starting to letting people out of the house, my mom's like, well, no one wants to sit and watch Twitch all night, Randy. And I'm like,
What do you think of Foxcatcher Mark Schultz?
Doesn't ring a bell. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure.
what is he from? That person?
What promotion?
What promotion?
Could you help us out?
Never heard of it either. I love the Indians. Is that in Brazil? Is that a Brazilian promotion? Hey, if you know anybody in the Brazilian promotion, an indie promotion that you want us to interview them, send them to the Dudes at Ringside page. We'll be happy to give them a day.
Mark Schultz when Foxcatcher was a movie that about an
Oh.
Olympic wrestler.
Oh,
Channing Tatum played.
Hmm.
I actually haven't seen that movie, which is strange. I love movies. But
Here we go. Hey, here we go.
What's your favorite movie?
oh, that's a really hard question. Favorite movie? Man, that's a really hard question. I love movies. Give me a genre because I really can't pick them off a broad range.
like type of movie? Like, I'm sorry.
Type of movie.
Favorite
Action.
type of movie? I love action movies. I just watched Wrath of Man in the theaters with Jason Statham. Oh, that was really, really good. Without Remorse on Amazon Prime with Michael B. Jordan, that was really good. Lately, favorite movie, man.
Ooh, he's throwing out the movies now. This guy, he's like,
He wants to know. What do you like?
Action movies. There you go. Horror movies.
that's all. Actually, I was gonna ask you. Are you a fan? Were you a fan of the Night of the Living Dead movies as a kid? And which one was your favorite?
I don't know if I have a fan. Not that I wasn't a fan of them. I just don't think that it was my horror's never really been my thing. I like serial killer movies and stuff now, but then not so much.
Saw.
Alex Penta. So I just watched Spiral, the new
it
Saw
good?
movie.
I wouldn't see
It was good. I enjoyed it. Chris Rock brought a different kind of element to it that I wasn't ready for. I thought it was good. Very predictable, but I mean most Saw movies are, but very predictable, but it was really good.
I really enjoyed Army of the Dead. I watched it last night. It was really good.
I need to watch it. I saw it was on Netflix today. I need to watch it. But
It's a long movie, but it's very good though.
I sat through Justice League, Zack Snyder cut. I can sit through Army of the Dead.
Yeah,
I
Army
gotta
of the
see
Dead.
that one. My friend saw that. Geek saw that one. I'm like,
Justice
haven't seen
League's great.
anything.
Justice League's great, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. It's phenomenal.
There
That
you go.
version. It was better than the original.
There you go. Jim Nerd question. Were you a fan of Ghostbusters as a kid?
Yes, absolutely. Still am. I can't wait for the next movie to come out.
Oh yes, I geeked out when that I was telling other people I geeked out as soon as they showed Egon's flight suit. I geeked out. I was like,
Yeah,
I also did a Ghostbusters show on YouTube called Ghost Head Talk. If you want to check that out, me and my buddy Laura.
Joe.
Yes,
There's a Hulk Hogan statue in San Paulo.
really?
That's pretty cool though.
There's a
I
Hulk Hogan.
wonder if Hogan knows that.
Yeah, I wonder if he knows that. Roach. When I went to 2019, my sister and I went to Universal Studios, Florida for Halloween Horror Night. Where the next day we're driving to go get coffee in the afternoon, whatever it was. And my sister goes, Randy, look at that. And I was like, what? There's a dude at the guy at the corner? No, look, I turned my head. It's the Hulk Hogan store. The little store there. I'm like, Randy, you didn't even know there was here? I'm like, I didn't even know it was here. When I go back to Florida next time, I'm going to that store. Because if I bump into Hogan, I'm doing a spot interview with him. Angela, hold the phone. Hogan, so Hogan, can you just cut a promo? I don't care how much money I need to give you for this promo. The trick with a promo, you tell them what to say. And there's one promo that we got, you guys from Massachusetts. He didn't even say like, hi, my name is. He went into a whole spiel sentence thing, like a poem. And then he said his name. And that one, and he held the phone sideways too. So it was like, this, you took up the whole screen.
Landscape. He's talking about landscape.
Landscape. I can never think of the word.
So,
I call it the phone sideways. It makes sense.
it's portrait mode and then there's landscape mode. I'm the geek, obviously.
Someone give this man a wedgie. Birds.
So, which is one of your favorite wrestlers? That's what someone.
Which is one of your favorite I guess he means WWF wrestler of all time?
Does that include E?
What's that?
I guess that includes E as well, or
I guess that's like, I guess meant like WWF superstars, I guess.
Undertaker probably in the WWF. Between Taker and Rock, I was always a huge Rock mark, and I still am. I love all those movies. Yeah, probably between Taker and Rock.
Did you? Sorry, you go, geek. Then I'll say.
Were there any inspirations for your character, or
Um,
I know you talked about Sting and the Crow and everything, but is there any other inspirations besides your character? Like,
yeah. So I know like Goldberg and Brock get a lot of crap because they do 3 or 4 different moves. That's all they do, and then they hit their finish. That's all really wrestling is. You're trying to tell a story. So I always picked up on like Brock does little things that you don't really notice. If he gives a suplex, he always backs away from the guy before he goes to another one. I try to do that because it gives you that second in between where they're wondering what are you going to do to follow that up. Try to give the crowd something. I've always thought that was really neat, the way he does that. So I kind of stole that from him. He did that a lot in his match with Eddie at WrestleMania. That was a lot of fun to watch. Let's see. Plus, I stole that from Brock to the kind of like the stalking phase after a move. Inspirations. So intensity. I've always thought intensity plays a big role in your character. So like Brock and then Batista, the way they were always, everything was just intensified by 1,000. Every time they would do a move, he would slam them harder than the next time, or he would. You'd see the look on his face whenever Batista would grab the ropes and he'd start shaking the ropes. That intensity, they can see it. They know what the move is supposed to do to that guy. I feel like that's always played a big role in my character too. So I try to get inspiration from them for that. Seemingly, it's a very small, very basic character. There's not a whole lot to it. It's little things, I think. But
Okay.
by the way, your gear is pretty cool. Do you know who designed it, or?
So the gear that I have now, I bought off of just a website that does wrestling gear, wrestling singlets, called Blue Chip Wrestling. They had a Crow design, so I got that one immediately, and they all had the red one. I got it's called Faith. It's got a couple crosses and Bible verses on it. I just now, for the first time since I started wrestling, ordered my own singlet with my stuff on it. That hopefully will be in for the July 10th show. So my next footage should have me and my new gear, as well as my promo pics. Cool. But I'm not sure who came up with the designs for Blue Chip, but I know they have them like in stock just to buy. So I've always loved those two particular singlets. I've always worn those. This will be the first time I kind of branch out of that. And my jacket that I wear was made by Killa Custom, or Killa. I want to say it right because I want people to actually know what I'm talking about. It's the person who does Bray Wyatt and Ruby Riott and all their gear.
Oh wow!
Let's see.
That's
Killa Custom Rockwear is the name of it. KillaCustomRockwear.com is the website. So she does Bray Wyatt stuff. She did all the Bludgeon Brothers. She did all that stuff for them. She made my jacket. She's actually making me a new one to go with this new gear that I'll have in a couple of months. It takes a little while because she's backed up. But her name is Kim. She is phenomenal. Very easy to work with. I can't wait to get my new one. So
that's cool.
I've lost a lot of weight since I got the last one, so this one should fit better.
Here we go. Another old school question. If you could take any old school manager from like the past of WWF, which one would you choose to be your manager and why?
Ted DiBiase.
Oh, what he's been doing lately.
Yeah, so I've been really excited that he's been back around doing that. A friend of mine had him in New Orleans as his manager, a company called Wildcat, and that was great to see. But he always brought the thing of, everybody has a price. I love that line. That's one of the most famous lines he's ever given. And just the way he would interact with fans during matches and just kind of hype them up and get the guy over. He was always incredible. He was Paul Heyman before Paul Heyman was a manager, and it was great.
That's one of our me and Geek would like dream to get Ted DiBiase on the show. I don't know how we would get him, but I would love him just to do a promo.
We'd have to pay a lot of money. But yeah,
Worth every time.
that was a corny one, but yeah.
Well,
it's the truth, right?
right.
Yeah, because everybody has a price, I guess, right?
That's right.
Yep. I'm ready to pay.
No, but I kind of have the same question, but a little bit different. If you could tag with anybody, who would you tag with?
Like now?
Anybody. It could be anybody.
Wow.
Or now, or now, like currently now.
So currently, if I could tag with anybody, I would probably tag with Karrion Kross. Not that he's a tag team wrestler, but that dude is. I love what he's doing in NXT. But if I could tag with anybody, ever,
like
actually
even in your promotion, you could choose.
Oh no, I can't say that because then I'll have phone calls. I can't do all that. I like where I'm at in my company. Let's see. I tag with anybody ever. The Dudleys. I would tag with the Dudleys. That would be fun.
Uh-huh.
Either one, Bubba or Devon. Either doesn't matter.
I actually met Bubba Ray when I went to this a club, like a restaurant club. It was placed somewhere in Jersey, and we were hanging out outside drinking our beers, and this big dude walks by us, and I was just like, my friend's like, "Oh, I know that guy. I know him." I'm like, "How do you know him?" And he turns around, and it's Bubba Ray just standing there. And I was like, dude, I walk over. My friend's like, dude, Joe, you always say you know people. That's not Bubba Ray. And I walked over and I went, what up, boy? What up, man? And he's like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? And I'm like, can I just take a picture with you really quick? He's like, yeah, my phone. I gave him from my phone. And I'm like, he's down. I'm 5'1". He towers over me.
Oh, yeah. That was a big guy.
Everybody towers over me. It's hard not to unless you're a little person. But I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. And where I live in Pennsylvania now, are you familiar with the ECW roster from the old days?
A little bit.
Jason Knight lives by my house. Wow. You know who that is? Jason Knight from the Impact Players.
I do, yes.
Yes.
There's actually a guy in Texas who uses that name. I don't know if that's his legit name or not, but he uses Jason Knight. But yeah, I don't know who that is. Wow.
Yeah, Jason Knight. He's a nice, super cool. I've known him since I worked at Walmart. Me and him used to talk, and I told him I saved him a sticker at the beer store, and he took it, and I wrote my number on the piece of paper. He said he couldn't read it, but we're trying to get him on the podcast now too, Lance. So we may get an Impact player. And I hope it's not like his partner, and everybody's got a price. Kerching. Wait, here we go. There's another funny movie question. Have you ever seen Half Baked?
I have.
Yes. Geeky has that funny haha running joke. Ka-ching, ka-ching. Come on.
Ka-ching, right?
Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
It's like you see the dollar signs just go up. It's like,
right.
So you want to be on the show? Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
It's like, you didn't tell me it's gonna be an hour. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Oh, but you want to do a promo? Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Yeah. That's the type of comedy we hear at Dudes at Ringside. The friends from Brazil. Yeah. Geeky, you turn.
I'm good. If he has any more stories, you could tell. That'd be great.
Keep going your stories.
Man. I had some things lying in my head, and I should have wrote them down. I didn't write them down. Let's see. Told you we had Shane Douglas in. He was great. One of my first tag team matches in when I first started was with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. We had him a few times. Really, really good guy. Man, I should have wrote them down, things that I had, but I've said a few things. But
I think another one that we could ask you, if here we go, if you didn't go into wrestling, what would you have done?
that's a hard one because I had football lined up and then that didn't happen. Wrestling kind of fell in my lap. If I didn't have wrestling, I probably would just be in the gym all the time, which I am anyway. But I'd just probably be in the gym for no reason. Now I train to wrestle, not just for life expansion. It would just probably just be everyday working out. I really don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing as far as hobbies go because this wasn't planned either. Might be playing golf, maybe. I don't know.
So
Not that I do golf. I go. I drive. That's all I do. Driving ranges. But
It's
no,
funny.
if I didn't have wrestling, I don't know what I would have.
do you have a favorite TV show or?
I like all movies and shows and stuff. So I've watched pretty much everything. I am a nerd. I've watched all the Gotham and Flash and Arrow and all those shows. If I had to pick a favorite, man, I've watched every episode of all the NCIS shows. That's probably one of my favorite shows. That Criminal Minds.
You're not a fan of Rick and Morty, are you?
I've seen I've seen a good bit of the Rick and Morty shows. When they first came out, I haven't watched anything recently. I found out yesterday that they're doing some Harry Potter shows coming up on HBO Max, some TV shows. I'm excited about that.
Really?
Yes. One's going to be on TBS. It's going to be like a trivia show that you'll be able to do fan interaction from home. I'm excited about that one too.
Ooh, I got another one when you're done with your question, Lance.
I'm done.
What is your opinion on the death of New Jack?
Man, so I've had the privilege of meeting him a couple of times. Solid guy, as nuts as they come. I mean, crazy guy, but in the ring at least. Solid guy outside the ring. I said I'm sponsored by Collar and Elbow. If you have a chance, if you go to the website, collarandelbowsbrand.com, collarandelbowbrand.com, they have a New Jack shirt. 100% of the proceeds are going to his family. It's tragic, man. It really is. I mean, with all the losses that we've had over the last couple of years between John Huber and him and Shad and all these wrestlers, it's been terrible. It really has. And New Jack was one of the last, not one of the last remaining, but one of the most current wrestlers from the ECW era that still kind of participated in that genre of wrestling. And it's really sad, you know. I mean, because you expected him to not outlive a whole lot of people, but when it happened, it was tragic.
We were doing the show when it happened, and we were doing like a dream match show with these guys called the Dirty Heels, and one of the guys was like something.
Nick Gage versus New Jack.
Gage versus New Jack, and someone in the comments said "Rest R.I.P. New Jack," and I thought maybe because of the match style we chose or whatever. And then something told me to grab my phone, and I went to the Instagram and I refreshed it. And the first thing I get is New Jack, rest in peace. New Jack has died. And I'm like, I looked into the camera and I said, guys, New Jack died. And it just bummed out the whole show.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely terrible. I was like, I could think of like so many different crazy memory matches that New Jack had. The scaffold match that he tasered the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Tasered.
I don't know if you've been following the Dark Side of the Ring. Have you? Or
I've watched one. I said I watched the Brian Pillman episode. I don't think I've seen anything else on there.
There is the New Jack one on there.
There is. I'll have to watch it.
Somebody said there was a Lucha Underground one, but I haven't found it yet because of what's going on with the contracts and everything.
Right. So
Yeah.
that weird story about that at WrestleMania WrestleCon in New Orleans. Our table is right across from Mil Muertes and on that whole Lucha Underground crew. As big as they make him look on TV, I tower over Mil Muertes.
Really?
Right? So yes, he's wide. He's very short. Very, very strange thing because as big as they make him look on TV. But weird story about that. But
Would you participate in the new Lucha Underground or no? If you got if they gave you the opportunity or no?
I got reached out to by a friend of mine. Whenever it first started, he was working there. Now, probably not, just with all the controversy. But
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
then back then, I really wanted to. I couldn't get away from work. But
You're kind of glad
plus,
you didn't.
right,
Right.
I'm glad I'm not involved in that. Because then, I mean, you had Prince Puma then, which was Ricochet, Mil Muertes, Brian Cade. Brian's actually a friend of mine.
Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Guevara. Yeah,
Thunder
all these
Rosa.
little younger guys that were extremely talented. I would have loved to have worked there, but now it's a little bit more controversial, like I said. So probably not. But
I mean, MLW took them over, so
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
it might be a little bit better.
and I know there's been rumors that MLW is going to end up being like the developmental for WWE, so that's going to be interesting to see what they do. But
I thought Evolve was, or are they going to start?
they are still with Evolve, but they're talking about doing what they did with what was SCW that's now NXT. They're talking about making MLW their FCW now, whereas Evolve is still partnered with them, but they're not as mainstream as what MLW has their own TV show and everything. So I don't know what that is, but I know I saw that the other day that they were talking about making them their developmental brand. But
I mean, for me, I don't want to talk negative about it, but I hope not because
right,
I kind of like because in a way that kind of kills the business, if you know what I mean. Because,
absolutely.
Because then you're killing. Okay, we're going to kill this company off. We're going to kill this company off. We're going to kill, and then there's no.
And Vince knows you can't have a monopoly of the wrestling industry because, yes, you travel all across the country and all across the world. Good for you. But if you come here, the only reason you pack the Cajun Dome is because people from other areas are going to come here. At a local show, we have guys that come from 15 minutes down the road, so you're not going to get all those people. He knows he can't do that. Plus, if he does MLW, MJF won't be able to work for him because he's not going to work for WWE. All the MLW, Hammerstone probably wouldn't work for him because he can't work for outside of AEW and MLW. I don't know. I hope they don't do that. But
Me too. I mean, are we good on time, Sean, or
what's that?
we're good on time, or
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, we can keep
Okay,
going.
we don't want to hold you up if we have to.
If you got to do stuff, no.
I'm going to bed when this is over to get up and work for 5 so it's cool.
Yeah,
Just
we
let
don't
us-
want to hold you up because we know you have a job and stuff like that.
Yeah. Just let us know because if you don't let us know, me and Joe, we'll go on until 2 a.m.
I understand.
And my parents would be happy that my light actually. I live in the basement of my house, so yeah.
Right.
But they asked me what happened on the show anyway. He's asked me now. So yeah, trying to think what else. Man, you take it. I can't think of anything else. Man.
If you want to wrap it, we could wrap it too.
All right. Sean,
That's it.
do you want to
Plug anything?
talk about anything else, or do you?
No, I mean, unless you guys have anything else for me.
No,
Go
we're good.
geek go.
If you want to plug anything, you can plug anything right here.
Said, I mean, if you guys are in Louisiana, if you ever come back down, get with me. We'll give you a tour. We'll take you to a show. We'll do something. We'll make it count. But as far as plugging anything, I'm good. I appreciate you guys having me on.
No problem.
All right.
Is there any rivalries you're in right now? If you do, you could go off on your rival right now.
So there's one guy. There's one guy that you probably should have on your show. I'd love to hear what he has to say. But
Tamaku.
Tomiko for sure. But no, Nate Slater. He's a Texas wrestler too. All I'm gonna say is that his time is coming. He slipped out from under me on this last Texas show we were going to. I was gonna go meet him, but we weren't having the show. So hopefully, if they reschedule, we can do it. But Nate Slater, if you hear this, if you're listening, I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon. Don't worry.
Wait, one more. I think we have one more question actually before we
Okay.
wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Most
What's the most
shocking
shocking?
loss in the wrestling world that hit you hard. They were all bad. I mean, none of them were ever a good thing. Eddie was probably my personal hardest thing to take. Eddie Guerrero, controversially, obviously Chris Benoit, that whole situation.
Ooh. When you're done with, I have a really funny, like kind of like weird, but weird at the same time.
But the hardest loss for me personally was Paul Bearer because I knew Moody. I can't say enough how special a person he was. That was terrible. I wish that we would have had more time with him as far as learning from him because I learned a little bit from him as this little time I spent with him. But great guy. I wish that we would have had more time.
Actually, the show when Vince McMahon's limo exploded. Do you remember that Raw?
I do.
Sean, I was at that Raw with my other friend, and it's a small arena in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Mohegan Sun. We were leaving the arena, and the smell of gasoline took over the whole parking lot. It smelled like a truck exploded. It was the limo, the famous limo exploding.
Right.
I just it lit up the sky as we walked up the doors. You would think it was like 6 o'clock in the afternoon. We were like, what? We all walked out. Like people were like walking out and they were backing up. Like they're thinking like there was, there's like a hill, like to the parking lot. You look down and you could feel the heat coming up. And we were like, whoa. So yeah, actually today is the anniversary show for Owen Hart. I was on Instagram about that this morning earlier. Do you remember watching that Raw?
I do. I was a kid. My dad and I were watching. I remember when they cut it off after he fell, and I remember my dad saying that he was going to be, everything was okay, just something happened. The next day, he told me that guy didn't make it. And I knew who Owen was. I obviously knew who all the wrestlers were, but I didn't really know of him. So after he told me that he passed, I went and I looked up the Hart family and did a bunch of research and stuff. And that was terrible, man. What was I watching? Something about they were talking about that, and whenever Jim said, he didn't know either, and they just told him over the microphone, Owen's dead, and it was a terrible experience. I couldn't imagine being involved in that particular show, especially with Sean doing it all the time, coming from the rafters and stuff, and things dropping from the top and things like that, and that happening. I couldn't imagine.
It's insane to think of what a career Owen Hart would have had if his tragedy didn't happen. I heard rumors that he was supposed to beat Bret Hart. Was it Owen was supposed to beat Bret, or he was supposed to beat Stone Cold? I forgot which one it was supposed to be. But one of the two, he was supposed to win the title.
Right.
I do got one though. What was the toughest fight you ever been in? Like who hit the hardest?
Fight.
Like who hit the hardest? You'd say.
So there's a local guy here. His name is Trucker Jones, and I doubt he's going to hear this, but I hope he does because he knows. Let's just be honest. His name is Brian. That dude hit me so hard. Oh man, we were at a show. It was in Lafayette, Louisiana. at the Hyman Center. It was a battle royal. It wasn't even really a match. I turned, and there he was, and he gave me a forearm shot. Man, he woke me up. I have never been hit that hard in my life. All I remember was seeing white, and the next thing I know, they dumped me over the top. And I told him after the match, I don't remember anything. That was the hardest I've ever been hit in my life. It was just a forearm shot. He is a legit tough guy. I love him to death. He's a great person. But that was the hardest I've ever been hit. You want stories? I gave you a story. We did a show in a very little town where I used to live here in Louisiana, and it was me and two guys. We call ourselves Animal Planet because we were all animals, versus a group called Trilogy. There's three of them, so Trilogy. Me and the one guy started the match. He pushed me. I slapped him across the face. I gave him a concussion. He no longer wrestles anymore. I slapped him, from what they tell me, this is somebody else's line. I slapped him out of the business. So I can send you the video to that. I think we have the video to that. If we don't, I can find it. But the sound was incredible, like a gunshot going off when I hit him. But so that's the hardest I've ever hit someone. And then Brian is the hardest I've ever been hit. Trucker Jones, that hurt. But
All right. If you have any more questions, we have any more questions for you, Sean. So if you want to say your goodbyes to the crowd, it's up to you.
Guys, I can't get what you're doing for the independent circuit. I really, really appreciate it. If you ever need anything from me, if there's anything I can do for you guys, I appreciate it so very much. And maybe one day we'll get to do it again, and I'll have a better. I'll have written down a little bit more information for you guys as far as stories go. I've been hitting the head bunch, so forgive me for forgetting.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
First, Sean, please tell your friends
Absolutely
about us and tell them that we're good. We're good people. We have funny questions. We're just trying to help.
Yeah.
And tell them to watch.
So I messaged my buddy who's in the Louisiana Ghostbusters. He really wants to be on the show, so I'll send you his information as well after this is over.
Oh yeah, tell him about me being a good. Tell him, fellow.
By the way, he has a Ghostbusters show too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want to be on that, they could do that.
Absolutely. And he's a Ghostbuster and a wrestler, and he does cosplay, so he fits all the realms.
Oh yeah, Laura would be happy as hell to have another Ghostbuster fan on the show. She's the talker. I'm the host, but she's the talker. But we could do a interview. I'll talk with Laura. I'll talk. But yeah, definitely we want you to come back.
Definitely.
This was lots of fun. This was tons of fun.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, guys.
Oh, no problem. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Wow, that was fun.
That was a fun interview.
That was a fun interview. It was lots of fun.
All right, Joe, you want to close?
Say your goodbye.
Yeah, thank you so much for everybody that came out tonight. Thanks for our guest, Sean Crow. By the way, thanks to that viewer from Brazil for staying up late. I don't know what time it is in Brazil, by the way. Thanks for supporting the show. Much appreciated. And you don't have to, but you could always donate to us at streamlabs.com/dudes@ringside. streamlabs.com/dudes@ringside to help us out. You don't have to.
And if you want to watch us every Monday and every Friday, we do our shows Monday at 11.
At the
Friday at 10, depending on the guest. And Keith, do you want to play the promo for well, you know, a promo, but this Friday we have The Last Greatest Manager, and play Mondays. Play Mondays.
Mondays or Friday.
His thing wasn't a promo. It was just a wasn't a preview. It was just a promo.
All right, it's a preview, right? You want to play it? All right,
play
real quick.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll play it real quick, and then we'll head out of here. I guess, right? So. I don't think there's anybody left. So I mean, I would rate somebody, but I don't think there's anyone left. So
yeah, just
all right. Have a good one.
You know, if you're listening to this, it's that time again. to shut your mouth and open your ears, because it's time for another episode of Dudes at Ringside Podcast with the Metal Geek and Joe the Panther. And of course, I am greatness himself, Mr. Chad Epic, telling you to stop entertaining thoughts of greatness. And like greatness himself, that's me, entertain you.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Grandpa. Thank you, cousin. Thank you, family members. Thank you for lighting the way for all us, for all Latino wrestlers. Good night, everybody.